Robb Roderick here. Today, guys, on this TileTV episode, I want to talk to you about choosing the right substrate for your tile installation. You know, oftentimes on a big commercial project, the architect's the ones that's responsible for choosing that substrate, but you know, oftentimes when we do smaller commercial jobs or residential jobs, maybe the owner looks to the tile installer to pick the substrate, and we have a wide variety of choices. You know, you could do some great installations over gypsum board, just sheetrock or drywall. Also, there's mud, of course. We could float mud on walls, cementitious backer board, fiber cement board walls. These are all options for walls, and there's even more options for floors. You know, there's a plywood underlayment that we can use. There's also uncoupling mats we can use on the floors, as well as mud floors, concrete board floors. So how do we choose the right substrate for that job? We want to look at two different things. We want to look at the service rating of the job. How much abuse is it going to receive? I mean, is it going to receive hardly any traffic at all? Or is it some big commercial place that's going to receive hundreds of people or maybe even heavy wheeled carts over it? So we want to look at that, and that is basically based on the service rating of the installation. So we got a couple of options when it comes to service rating. One of them is residential, and when we have a residential service rating, it basically talks about stuff in a residential job, like a bathroom or a kitchen or maybe a foyer. And then it moves on up to a light service rating, which would be like office space or you know, a reception area in an office. Goes on up to moderate, which would be like maybe a public restaurant or a hospital, and on up to heavy, like if it was a shopping mall or a commercial kitchen or something that took a lot of abuse. And then they even have an extra heavy rating for like food plants and dairies and breweries and things like that. So we want to think about where it's located and what its service rating is. There's actually an ASTM test C627, the Robinson floor test, which gives us our service rating. It can let us know what methods to use and what materials to use depending upon which of those service ratings that particular installation falls in. Is it a residential, light, moderate, heavy, or extra heavy? The second thing I want you to look at is how much moisture is that installation going to receive. You know, if we're using that drywall substrate, that's a great substrate if we have an area that doesn't receive much water. So when it comes to how much water an installation will receive, they put that in classifications, and that's found in our TCNA Handbook under environmental exposure classifications. So there's 7 different classifications. They go residential 1, commercial 1 to residential 7 and commercial 7. Residential 1 and commercial 1, they receive the least amount of moisture. They're installations that just basically receive moisture when they're being cleaned. And then it moves on up to, let's say, residential 3, commercial 3. That would be representative of maybe a shower floor or an area that's frequently saturated, often and soaked. And then goes all the way up to residential and commercial 7, which are areas that can be submerged. So whenever you're picking a substrate, you have to think about, first off, what's the service rating? And secondly, how much moisture is that going to receive? So I hope that helps you guys. Until I see you next time, be safe, and I look forward to seeing you on the road.